Greetings, it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to Tuesday album ranking, and today we have got the solo career of a member of The Who, and we're going to look at bass player John Entwistle. Now, John was born the same day as me, but he was born in 1944, so he was a little bit older than me, but he sadly passed away in 2002. Of course, great bass player, nicknamed the Ox, Thunderfingers, and he was actually the only member of The Who that had any formal music training, and he also provided backing and occasional lead vocals. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of The Who in 1990. Apart from doing these albums with The Who, he managed to, over his career, produce 7 solo albums, a couple with other people in the Locker group, and in 2020 he was number 3 in the list of the 50 greatest bass players of all time, which I think is brilliant because he was a genius on the bass. So we'll have a look at his solo career today. So coming in at number 7 is an album that he recorded between 1985 and 86, released in 86, and it's called The Rock, and it was a little band that he got together. The band was John Entwistle on bass guitar, trumpet, trombone, Harry Small lead and backing vocals, trumpet, trombone, Gene Black on the guitars, Devin Powers on guitars, Zach Starsky drums, and Adrian Cook on the keyboards. First track on this one is called Stranger in a Strange Land, nothing to do with Iron Maiden. Although it's a reasonably good track, it's got lots of 80s production on it. The drums are okay, but it's just got a real overload of 80s production. Love Doesn't Last is next. I like all the guitar work in this, but it's the keyboards that just makes it that dated 80s sound. Susie, pretty good guitar solo on this. The bass work is great, of course, and I'm not keen on the keyboards on that. Bridges Under the Water. Best bit about this is John's bass line, and that's it. Heartache. The keyboards at the beginning are a little bit cheesy, but on the whole it's a good track. It's got a very good guitar solo on it as well. My favourite track on here is Billy. It's very 80s rock, but it's got a great bass line. John was on fire on that one. Then we have Life After Love, a good track, a great vocal from Henry on this. The guitar work is good. Hurricane. The bass line is good, but the rest of it's overproduced. Last song, I wouldn't say that it's the best. Country Hurricane. It's a country sort of track, and it's quite fun. Okay, considering this was made smack bang in the middle of the 1980s, it has got some really good tracks on. It's listenable. The keyboards, I think they make date it a little bit, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay, coming in at number 6 is an album that came out in 2002, so it was his final studio album before he passed, and it's music from Van-Pires, and it's from the John Entwistle Band. It was a soundtrack for the sci-fi award-winning UPN animated children's computer-generated television series Van-Pires, which aired between 1997 and 1998. I don't remember it. So on here we have got John Entwistle on vocals, bass, brass, orchestration, Steve Lugongo on percussion, drums and vocals, Alan St. John keyboards, Jeffrey Townsend guitar, Leslie West from Mountain on lead guitar on Don't Be a Sucker, And then there's Keith Moon on Boogeyman. And you'll wonder why. Well, you'll find out. I'm sure the Who fans will know that one. And we've got Jane and Mate and Mark Varley on Speech. First track is a little thing called Horror Rock. It's not too bad. It's got a nice vocal. It's a short little thing. Darker Side of Night. The keyboard is quite good. I like that track. Sometimes it's the same keyboard bit from Darker Side of the Night, but there must be a reason, because it's part of like a theme soundtrack. And then we get Bogeyman now. For those that don't know, Bogeyman was originally written for Who Are You in 1987, but was rejected from the band for being too humorous. A demo recording by John and Keith was forgotten about, and they discovered it and restored it for this children's soundtrack. And it's quite good. Keith's drumming is fantastic. It's the best track on the album, actually. It's great to hear. It was great to hear this. I'd never heard it, and I thought it was brilliant. Even though it's, you know, the drumming is taken from 78-ish. Good and Evil. I love the kids' voices on here. It's really different. When You See the Light. John's bass line is excellent on this. I don't mind that one. Back on the Road. Very nice. It's very Elton John, though. Left for Dead. A bit middle of the road. But it's got a nice bass line. When the Sun Comes Up. I like the singing and the keyboards on it. It really adds to the track. Rebel Without a Car. Very heavy riff at the beginning. Spoilt by some cheesy keyboards. Then we have Don't Be a Sucker. Another of my favourites on here. It's guitar solo. Excuse me. It's done by Mr. West of Mountain, and it's co-wrote by Pete Townsend and John Entwistle. It's a great little track. Endless Vacation. The bass line's alright. I'll Try Again Today. Another good rocking. And the last track is Face the Fear. It's a nice upbeat track. Not a bad album. You know, it's nice to hear Keith Moon on it, and a little cameo from Leslie West as well. But the rest of it's pretty mediocre, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 5, we got the third album from 1973, Rigor Mortis Sets In. John's on lead vocals, bass guitar, electric guitar and keyboards. Alan Ross, guitars, trumpet, synthesizer, and there's some singing. Jim Ryan on lead guitar. Graham Deacon on the drums, Tony Ashton on keyboards, Brian Williams trombone, Howie Casey saxophone, the members of the Ladybirds, the backing circles are Gloria George, Maggie Stredder and Marion Davis. First track, dearie me, excuse me folks. Oh, proper frog in the throat. Okay, the first track is Gimme That Rock and Roll. I wouldn't say that John is the best singer in the world. He does an adequate job. And it's not a bad song anyway. It's pretty good. Mr. Bassman. I've heard some good versions of this. And this one is a bad one. Do the Dangle. That's a nice little rock and roll number. I don't mind that. Then they do a cover of Hound Dog. Written by Lever and Stoller, of course. It's not a bad version of this song. I'll give him that one. Made in the Japan. I could imagine The Who recording this song. I don't know if this is another of those rejected songs. It's as good as anything. It's a great bass line from John. Then we have My Wife, my favourite track on here. It sounds more like a Rolling Stones track of the time. It's pretty good though. Then we have this little thing called Roller Skate Kate. The music, well, the sound is actually Richard Valens' Donna, and they've put some new words to it, and it just roams in with John's sense of humour. Then we have Peg Leg Peggy. Reminds me of a bit of a glam rock T-Rex style track. It's got a really good feel to it. Lucille, rock and roll number. Everyone's recorded it. It's not a bad version of it. Then we got Big Black Cadillac. Great funky bass line on here. The keyboards are good as well. As I said, as I said, John's not the best singer, but there's some good songs on here. There's a little bit of his sense of humour on here, which I do like. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.3. Okay, coming in at number 4, got his second solo album from 1972, Whistle Rymes. Joining John on here is Peter Frampton on the guitar, John Wilder on backing vocals. Got 2 drummers, Rod Crooms and Gordon Barton. Jimmy McCulloch, who went on to play with Wings. Neil Shepherd on electric piano and organ. Brian Williams on trombone and Alan Ross on guitar. The first track is my favourite track on here, and it's called 10 Little Friends. It's got a great groove, it's a great vocal and some great guitar playing from Mr. Frampton. Apron Strings, good track, got a real good bass line, very solid track. I Feel Better, I'm not quite sure if it's Jimmy McCulloch or Peter Frampton playing the solo, but it's an excellent solo and it's a good track. Thinking All Over, the bass line is terrific on this, brilliant. Who Cares, it's one of those tracks that it's more like it's got tendencies of The Who, but it's got a super bass line. I Wonder, I love this. It's got brass, which really adds to it. It's quite a fun track. I Was Just Being Friendly, solid track, nothing from this, and it's a really good vocal from John. The Window Shopper, good track, interesting arrangement, I would say. I Found Out, it's just one of those simple piano tracks with a decent vocal. And the last track, Nightmare, Please Wake Me Up. It's quite a dark song. It's got a really good sort of dark bass line, which really adds to it. I think this is a really good album. Some of these solo albums don't get the praise they deserve. It's a very solid album. Not a bad track on it, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, coming in at number 3, the fifth and final solo album from 1981, Too Late That Hero. Joining John on here is Mr. Joe Walsh. We've got Joe Vitale on drums and Billy Nichols on backing vocals. The rest of the instruments are played by John and Joe. First track on here is called Try Me. It isn't too bad. It's very middle of the road. It's not it's a bit rocky and it's quite good. Talk Dirty. The harmony vocals on here is really good. Excellent little track. Lovebird. Some nice guitar work here from Joe Walsh. No, it's his guitar work because he's got this unique sound. Sleeping Man. Guitar's great. The great bass line. Really solid track. I'm Coming Back. My favourite guitar solo on here from Joe. Brilliant. Great track. Dancing Master. The drums are great. It's another of my favourites on here. Fallen Angel. Super bass line from on the bass from John. Love Is a Heart Attack. Second favourite track on here. I think it's got another excellent groovy bass and guitar solo. Too Late the Hero. It's not bad. It's John's best vocal on this as well. Pretty solid album. I like this, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. So coming in at number 2, the debut solo album from 1971, Smash Your Head Against the Wall. On here, joining John is Dave Langston on electric and acoustic guitars, Jerry Shirley on drums, Vivian Stanshaw, Latin American percussion, Keith Moon, Latin American percussion, Neil Innes, Latin they all do that on track 8. First track is a killer track called My Size. Dave Langston is absolutely brilliant on this. Some great guitar work. Pick Me Up, Big Chicken. Love the backing vocals on this. Solid track. Joey Shirley's drums are fantastic on that. What Are We Doing Here? Not a big fan of this one. It's a bit plain. What kind of people are they? This doesn't just prove that John was a great bass player, but he could play trumpet. It's absolutely fantastic. Heaven and Hell. My favourite track on here. It's a great little 3-piece rock band rock track. Great bass line. Really good. And then we have a Ted End acoustic number. Nice gentle track. I don't mind this. We got You're Mine. Bit of piano on this from John. Very good. And then number 29, Eternal Earth. Now this is quite good. This, of course, has got the Latino percussion from Keith Moon, Vivian Stanshaw and Neil Innes. They're having a lot of fun with this. It's quite a good little track. I Believe in Everything. This is quite pastiche. I love the gentleness of this. And then towards the end you get it sort of livens up. Good track to end the album. A pretty good debut album from John. There's one or two that are a bit off, but on the whole, I think this is an excellent album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. But my number one album is his 4th solo album from 1975, and it's Mad Dog. So John does lead vocals, bass guitar, 8-string bass guitar and synthesizer. Jimmy Ryan on the guitar, Mike Wedgwood on guitars, Robert A. Johnson guitars, Graham Deakin drums, Eddie Jobson from UK on piano and violin, Tony Ashton on the piano, John Mealing on the piano, Nashville Cat strings, John Mumford trombone, Dick Parry saxophone, Howie Casey saxophone, Dave Caswell trumpet, backing vocals by Doreen Chanter, Irene Chanter and Juanita Franklin. First track is called I Fall to Pieces. I love this. It's got that big band feel to it, where you've got Tony Ashton playing pianos on that. It's a great track. Cell number 7, good track. It's got a bit of a story. The vocals have got some effects on it, and I love that big sound again. It's such a good track. You Can Be So Mean. It's one of them sort of 50s, 60s ballads. Fantastic little track. Lady Killer comes next. Great bass line from John. I love the brass on it. It's just a good rocky track with some brass. Who in the Hell? Bit of a country. We've got some banjo on this. It's a quite fun track. My favourite track is the title track, Mad Dog. The saxophone is great. The bass is great. It's just a great sort of rocky number with other instruments. Then we have a track called Jungle Bunny. It's straight off a 1970s cop show theme. I love the funky guitar on it, and it's got a great bass line. I'm So Scared. All I can say is I know it's Tony Ashton on the piano. It's got his trademark on it. It's just a great boogie track. Drowning is a bit of a doo-wop song. I like the strings on it. It works. It's not my favourite album on it, but you get plenty of doo-wops and doo-doos and things. What I like about this album, though, you do get a diverse. You get country, rock and roll, big brass, boogie. It's got some fine musicians on it. I've really enjoyed listening to this album, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.7. So there we go. I've really enjoyed this because I haven't heard too much of John Entwistle's solo stuff. It's been a great thing, and I shall probably listen to more of it. Okay, coming up next is Retro Ranking, and we're going to do a great sort of soulful bluesy band who made great instrumentals, and that's Booker T and the MGs. So join me for that later. Bye for now.